cruel neighbors called the police in hopes that a 9-year-old black boy would be kicked out of the neighborhood. However, as soon as they made the call, they regretted it. Even though he was only 9 years old, Tristan realized that not everyone was welcoming to his family in this neighborhood. Since moving in, the boy has felt the suspicious looks he gets when he rides his bike on the street and the neglect his parents receive when he tries to greet neighbors. However, when Tristan's family found the perfect house on a quiet street, they didn't hesitate to move in. They fell in love at first sight with the house and its tree-lined street, which seemed like the ideal place to raise the boy. Excited about their new home, they look forward to fitting in, organizing get-togethers and barbecues to get to know their neighbors. Most people received them warmly. However, because their new home is in a predominantly white neighborhood, and is a black family, not all neighbors are open. Although Tristan's parents have good jobs and are always polite and thoughtful, this does not change the discrimination they face. Matters became tense when some neighbors not only did not return the greeting but also showed hostility. Everything came to a climax one day when Tristan went out on his bike. The built-up tensions finally explode, forcing Tristan's family to face the harsh reality of their new neighborhood. But instead of being pushed back, Tristan's family is determined to not only stay, but to build a stronger community where mutual respect and understanding are the foundation. Tristan returned home in tears. His mother rushed to pick him up, worried that Tristan had been in a bicycle accident. But when she saw no injuries, she asked what had happened. After calming down, Tristan said, he was riding his bike around the neighborhood as usual when he noticed a neighbor looking at him through the window. Although he tried to ignore it, 10 minutes later, when Tristan smiled at them, the neighbor opened the window and said words that hurt him. Tristan's mother was angry when she heard her son tell about the incident. She was upset not only because of the racist words they said, but also because they were completely untrue. Their family had lived in Georgia since their grandparents' time. Tristan's mother was ready for a confrontation, but when his father returned and found out, he explained that a confrontation would only make things worse. They decided not to let the incident affect their lives, especially since the neighbor lived far away from them. However, Tristan refused to go out after the incident. His mother was sad to see her child feel like he couldn't play freely just because of the attitude of a few people. But not long after, Tristan overcame his sadness and returned to playing with his friends. Although hurt, with the support of his family and the friendship of other children in the neighborhood, Tristan regained his joy and confidence. Tristan has regained his confidence and gradually returned to fun games with his friends. After a period of adaptation and accepting the negativity from a few neighbors, his family is happy with their new life. However, luck did not really smile on Tristan when an unexpected incident once again brought the boy back home in tears. One afternoon, while playing, the group's ball suddenly rolled into the yard of the neighbor who had had a quarrel with Tristan. Not wanting to face that neighbor, Tristan asked a friend to pick it up for him. The woman, standing behind the window, witnessed everything and without hesitation came out, accusing Tristan of intentionally kicking the ball into her yard. Although the boy tried to explain that he was not the one who caused the incident, the neighbor did not listen and threw the garbage bag he was holding at Tristan, causing him to be humiliated and burst into tears. Luckily, Tristan's friends were not only there to comfort him but also helped clean up the trash, showing the good upbringing they had received from their family. When your parents found out, they were furious, but that couldn't compare to the outrage Tristan's mother felt when she opened the door and found her son covered in garbage. Tristan's mother didn't need to ask to know that the neighbor had caused this situation. She was grateful for the sympathy and kindness of Tristan's friends and took her child's hand into the house. Between sobs, Tristan firmly asserted that he was not the one who caused the incident, revealing the unshakable determination of a young boy. Tristan played football with his friends and no one intentionally caused any trouble. His mother immediately took her child's side, understanding that the situation was just an accident that no one wanted. While Tristan took a shower to wash away the traces of a bad day, his cries were still heard in the bathroom, making his mother's heart ache even more. She went to her husband to vent about what happened, but this time, he couldn't calm her anger. It was time to act. He quit his job early hoping to calm things down, but it was too late. When he pulled up to the house, he saw his wife knocking on the neighbor's door. The woman just laughed when she opened the door and said that she was tired of seeing Tristan, thinking that the boy only caused trouble, so it was natural to dump trash on him. Tristan's mother, so angry that she was blushing, was ready to rush in, but his father promptly intervened and took her home. That night, friends from the neighborhood gathered at Tristan's house, trying to comfort the family. Everyone recognized the neighbor's bad character. But they also realized that if Tristan's mother lost her temper, the woman would probably call the police. Listening to the advice of her friends and husband, she decided to keep her distance from her neighbors and not let them provoke her further. Once tensions have subsided, the family finds peace together, knowing that patience and compassion are the strongest weapons against ignorance and malice. After the heartbreaking incident, Tristan decided not to go out and often locked himself in his room. Contrary to his usual strong attitude, the boy became timid and wary. Seeing that their child was seriously affected, Tristan's parents also felt worried and heartbroken. They always strive to work hard to build a comfortable life for their family. A value they hope to pass on to Tristan, so that he can achieve what he wants in life on his own. Create. One evening, during a family meal, Tristan suddenly opened up to his parents. He said he wanted a new PlayStation because his current console was old and his friends were playing online games together. But instead of asking his parents to buy it for him, Tristan made them feel proud when he said he wanted to save money to buy the PlayStation himself. He received an allowance from helping around the house and planned to save that money. Not stopping there, Tristan was determined to find a way to earn extra income by doing yard work for his neighbors. Knowing that many elderly people in the area struggled with mowing and weeding, he offered to take on the jobs they couldn't or didn't want to do for a reasonable fee. His parents were very supportive and happy to see that their child not only proactively made money but also wanted to help the community, showing his kindness and responsibility. Pride filled the hearts of Tristan's parents as they saw the good qualities they worked so hard to instill in their son begin to sprout. Although they set a clear rule, no approaching a difficult neighbor's house, Tristan fully agreed and quickly enforced it. By the end of the week, the boy went out looking for work and received a warm welcome from most people in the neighborhood, when they saw Tristan volunteering to take on the job. Despite knowing that saving up for a new PlayStation would take some time, many neighbors invited Tristan back weekly to help with yard maintenance, a job that made him feel satisfied and confident. Proud of yourself. However, not everyone is happy about this. The cruel neighbor, always watching from behind the curtain, becomes increasingly angry when he sees Tristan welcomed and loved in the neighborhood. One day, in the darkness of jealousy and ignorance, this woman decided to take action. She called 911 and reported that a black boy was loitering near her house, making her worried for the safety of the elderly in the area. After hanging up the phone, she prided herself on doing the right thing, even though in reality it was just a reflection of personal prejudice and malice. Not long after, the noise of a police car pulling into the neighborhood signaled a new chapter of tension and misunderstanding to come, but Tristan and his family were ready to face it and defend their honor. As your truth. As the police car wound through the streets of the neighborhood, officers began canvassing the area based on the description of the call received. But the only person who fits the description is Tristan, a boy who is diligently trimming hedges. Although the female caller did not provide a specific age, officers expected they would encounter a teenager behaving suspiciously. However, they only saw a child working hard. The two officers, Colleran and his colleague, both white, slowly approached Tristan. The boy's heart sank when he saw them, realizing that the bitter neighbor had reported him to the police. But Officer Colleran had no intention of provoking or interrogating. He politely asked Tristan what he was doing. And the boy quickly explained that he was doing yard work for the neighbors to earn money to buy a PlayStation. Tristan added that he didn't want his parents to have to pay a large sum of money, when he could earn his own money and help his neighbors. Officer Colleran and his colleague looked at each other, immediately realizing that something was wrong with the call they received. This boy did nothing wrong. Meanwhile, Tristan's mother, seeing a police car pass the house, nervously stepped outside to see what was going on. When she realized the police were talking to her son, she quickly approached. She appeared worried but also felt relieved to see the officers treating her kindly and listening to Tristan's explanation. She knew that she needed to resolve all misunderstandings and protect her son from the neighbors' evil intentions. Officer Colleran remained calm and informed Tristan's mother that the call they had received involved a person loitering and knocking on doors, and from the description, Tristan appeared to be the only person who fit the bill. However, he immediately noticed that the boy was not behaving suspiciously. He assured Tristan's mother that he was a polite, respectful and honest child. Tears rolled down his mother's cheeks as she shared the hardships the family had gone through with the harsh neighbor, and she was convinced that this person was the one who called the police. Unfortunately, the call requested anonymity, so there's no way to confirm this. After reassuring Tristan and his mother that they had nothing to worry about and that the boy could continue his work, Officer Colleran and his colleagues politely left the scene. From afar, the cruel neighbor was proud to see the police visiting the home of the family she hated. She told herself that their appearance proved that Tristan's family did not deserve to stay in the neighborhood. However, when the officers left without any further action, she could not believe her luck. Although she wasn't the one to call the police this time, their return made her even more convinced that she had done the right thing. But in reality, this only further exposed her ignorance and malice. While the cruel neighbor excitedly walked out into the street to observe the situation, she mistakenly thought that this time the police would really make Tristan's family leave. When Officer Colleran knocked on the door and Tristan's mother opened it, she felt a strange fear surrounding her. She wasn't sure she could bear any more pain. But what happened next was completely beyond her imagination. Colleran smiled and asked if Tristan was home, because he had a surprise gift for him. Tristan, with a curious look on his face, got out and followed the officer to the back of the patrol car. The neighbor, unable to hide his excitement, thought that finally everyone would see the true face of this family. But when Officer Cullen opened the trunk and told Tristan to look inside, the boy's face lit up with joy. He picked up the latest PlayStation, burst with happiness, and hugged Officer Colleran. This warm and touching moment made the smile on the neighbor's face freeze and slowly disappear. She couldn't understand why there was such warmth and humanity between Tristan and the police officer. Gradually, people around her began to realize her role in the initial police call and how she had treated Tristan's family. The neighbor's probing eyes made her cheeks turn red, filled with shame. While everyone stared, she quickly felt deep remorse for her actions. Realizing how wrong she had been, a 9-year-old boy, a piece of the puzzle in the life of a cruel neighbor, has completely changed the landscape of the neighborhood. Officer Colleran, returning to the station after the event, couldn't stop talking about Tristan to his colleagues, describing him as a shining example of strength and character, a young gamer who was willing to work to earn money. By PlayStation. But the story does not stop there. Colleran wants to show Tristan and his family that there are still many good people in the world. He called on everyone in the department to contribute money to buy the latest game console for the boy. The move was met with overwhelming support. And they even donated enough money to buy gift cards, allowing Tristan to play online games right away. When Officer Colleran gave the PlayStation to Tristan, he promised to play games with him on his team. The cruel neighbor, who previously always criticized and made things difficult for Tristan's family, now rarely appears. A few months later, a "for sale" sign was put up in front of her house, and the shame and failure to evict Tristan's family forced her to move. Meanwhile, even with his PlayStation, Tristan continues to help his elderly neighbors with yard work, realizing the importance of helping others. Officer Colleran not only saved Tristan in a difficult situation but also inspired the boy to spread love and care to the surrounding community. Now the question is for you, if you were Tristan's mother, how would you feel about these changes? We look forward to hearing your thoughts. Please share your thoughts.